Hi everyone, and welcome to our first Leader2Leader webinar for this year. Tonight we're going to be covering and talking all about daisies, and we're going to be talking about tips and tricks on being a daisy leader and some of the new materials that are out for daisies this year. Tonight on the panel, oh, 1 minute, my thing is frozen. Tonight on the panel, we have myself, Melissa Ilias, Program Coordinator for Troop and Service Unit Support. We have Beth Roth and Michelle Sorois, who are two experienced volunteers who agreed to present tonight about being daisy leaders. So I'm thankful to them for that. So before we get started tonight, I do want to tell you about some upcoming Leader2Leader webinars that we have planned for this year. The next one will be on December 18th, and it's very similar to this webinar, but it will be for brownies instead of daisies. February 5th, we'll talk all about getting girls outside because research shows that girls enjoy spending time outside, but sometimes us as adults, we don't necessarily feel comfortable taking them outside. So that webinar will be about getting us comfortable. On April 9th, another similar webinar to this one, but for juniors. And on May 14th, we'll be talking about managing a multi-level troop. I also want to say that this webinar is being recorded and it will be available on the GS of CT YouTube channel. And all our past webinars from last year are also up on the GS of CT YouTube channel. And there are a bunch of different topics up there. So if you have some free time, check those out. I also want to say before we get started tonight that if you have any questions throughout the webinar for myself or the presenters, please feel free to write them in the comment and question box that you have on your toolbar that's located on the right-hand side of your screen. So don't write in the chat, but write in the question box if you have a question.
Hey, Melissa?
Yes.
It's not, if you're on the upcoming webinar, I'm still seeing the title page. It didn't update on mine. I don't know what other people are seeing, but I'm not seeing.
Okay, all right. Is everybody else, can you write in the question box and tell me what you're seeing? Are you seeing the title page or are you seeing the slide with Michelle on it?
I see the title one.
Oh no. Okay, hold on. Let me try and figure this out.
Oh, now I see it. Now I see Michelle.
Oh, there's me. Yes.
Hold on one more second because I think it's, for some reason, it's paused on my current slide. And I don't know why. You'll be able to see the next slide. But so I'd like to introduce our first presenter for tonight, and that is Michelle Sorois, and she is a mom of 13 children, and their ages range from 3 to 27. She is a grandmother to a 19-month-old who will be a future Girl Scout. She has 6 daughters who have all been Girl Scouts, and 5 of her daughters are still current Girl Scouts, and they are 16, 14, 12, 7, and 6, and she is a leader for all of them. So she started, her Girl Scout experience started as a way to spend time with her daughter, but as time went on, she realized she was having just as much fun as her daughter and that it was very rewarding, and she is now the service unit manager for Cheshire. So let me see if I can switch to the new slide. Do you see the new slide, or do you still see Michelle?
I see it.
Oh, you do?
I see the new one.
Oh, yep. Wonderful. Okay. So Michelle, whenever you're ready.
All righty. So hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Sorois, as she said. Thank you for having me tonight. I'm honored that you asked me to speak. I don't feel like I'm an expert in any means, but I have been in Girl Scouts for a long time. Seems like a long time. I think this is my 17th year. I kind of lost count, but So I've been doing it for a while. So here I am. As you can see from my bio, like we said, I have 13 kids, and my granddaughter, who she has her little first I'm going to be a Girl Scout shirt. She's already wearing it all the time. So when I started Girl Scouts, my oldest daughter is 22 now, and I started when she was in kindergarten as her co-leader for Daisies. And at that time, Daisies was only a one-year program. I'm trying to remember when it bumped up to 2 years, but it was only 1 year then. And we did it very simple. It was easy. My co-leader and I would just take turns running meetings, and she would cover one of the pedals at the one meeting, and then I would cover the next one. And basically, that's what we did. We spent our year. We got all the pedals done. We didn't have much time for anything else, but we did get all the pedals in. So it's nice now that Daisies is 2 years. So let's see. I have 2 troops now. Like I said, my 3 older girls are in cadets up to senior Girl Scouts. So I have a multi-level troop there. And then my 2 youngest daughters are both Daisies, and I have them combined in my other troops. So I'm not running 5 different troops. I have 2 troops, 2 multi-level troops. So I thought that I would share with you some of the things that I've learned and over these years, and maybe you can benefit from some of my mistakes and some of the things I've learned along the way. So I start every year with a parent meeting. I get the parents together, and especially the first year before Daisies. I know the Daisies that they have right now, when we started, I have 12 girls, and 2 of them had parents who were either Girl Scouts when they were kids or had an older daughter who was a Girl Scout. Most of them knew nothing about Girl Scouts at all. So I got them all together at a coffee shop, and we had a little parent meeting. It was less than an hour. I try to make it as just parents if at all possible, but I'm a mom too. I know people have a hard time getting childcare sometimes, so I'm flexible, but we do try to do just parents. And so at that meeting, I put together, we call it our parent handbook. It's basically just a folder with important information in there about our troop, such as when we meet, where we meet, and then it has all of our important forms that the parents need to fill out, like the health history and the consent form. I always put a parent survey in there and ask them what they would like to volunteer for to help us with our troop. Of course, I used to put registration forms in there, but now I put instructions on how to register online now. And then I have a frequently asked questions page where I try to put in information that the most common things that parents ask me. One of the big ones is I put a diagram of a Daisy uniform and where to put insignia, because that's the big thing. And they still will ask me, and they'll forget, and they'll put things on the wrong place, which is fine. But so I try to put that in there for them. And I always keep a few of them in my handy Girl Scout bag, because people will pop into my meetings and say, hey, my daughter's interested in joining. And then if I'm in the middle of a meeting, I don't have to stop and interrupt with my girls. I can hand the parent one of my folders, and they can read it by themselves. Let's see what else. Oh, I have a digital copy as well. So if people want to email me, I can just email it to them. I, in the past, was not very good about delegating. I'm kind of very independent, and I was not good about asking for help. But don't be afraid to ask for help. You should not do everything alone. It's not the goal of Girl Scouting. Try to get everybody involved. So the biggest things you want are somebody to be your cookie mom, somebody to be your QSP person. A treasurer is wonderful. I handle my troop checkbook, but I would love to get somebody else and give it to them. I have a snack mom, because we meet right after school, and so the girls come to our meeting starving because it's right after school. So I have a mom who's in charge of snack. That doesn't mean she provides snack every week. She organizes a calendar, and parents sign up for a meeting. I'll bring snack this week. And the snack mom's job is just to remind them, oh, hey, you signed up to bring me the snack this week. Don't forget. I also try to get parents, at least one parent from each family, to at least come and help out at one meeting a year if they can. Some of them work, and it's right after school, so it's hard for them. But I try, because the more hands, the better, as far as I'm concerned. With a bunch of little girls at this age, I could use all the help I can get. So I encourage all the parents to come and help. They have to get registered, to come and help us. But I too encourage them to come. And then the other thing we talk about at our parent meeting is just uniforms, where to get them, and what they need. All right. Do we need to ask for questions before we move on to this one, or am I good?
Sure. If you have any questions for Michelle, please feel free to type them into the question box. Oh, we have one. Here we go. Let's see.
Okay.
How do you approach parents helping if they do not want to register?
Right. Well, I let them know that if they're not going to get registered, they can't come with us. If we're going on a trip, they have to be required. If we're going on a field trip away from our meeting, technically, in order for them to attend a meeting, they're supposed to be registered. And I mean, I haven't had much of an issue with it. Most parents have wanted to. And the ones that don't usually are the ones that don't come to our meetings. I don't know. That's about all.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I guess the question would be, why don't they want to be registered, and trying to figure that out, and possibly just explaining to them that if they do want to participate, they would have to get registered. So
Right.
does that answer your question? All right, I think that answers the question.
Yeah, it's kind of a safety issue. I try to tell them that too. You know, it's about the girls and keeping them safe. So.
She says, okay, I just had a little hesitation from a parent. I didn't pry much. I didn't explain the rule though, so I will contact them again. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Let me look at one more question. Let's see. I have 5 moms that registered, but just want to help, but not be a co-leader. Is that okay, or do I need a co-leader?
You're supposed to have a co-leader. I had the same situation last year when I started my Daisy troop. Nobody wanted to specifically say they were the co-leader, but most of my moms, they got registered and they said, okay, you're going to be the co-leader today. You'll be the co-leader next week. So I don't have one that's like technically written down as a co-leader. I told them this year somebody's going to have to be the one that I write down. You're the co-leader. But we took turns.
I had a same situation last year that, you know, we're technically supposed to have a co-leader, and the same thing, all the parents registered. I started with 5 or 6 girls, and I told the mom, and so I said, okay, that's fine. Every mom has to take a week and be the helper that week. And so we started out that way, but then I lucked into it that a mom joined and ended up coming on as a co-leader. So I think maybe if you get them each to take a turn, maybe as you go along, one of them will realize they're enjoying it or see it's not too much work, and will take up, hopefully for your sake, will help take up some of the responsibility.
Right. Yeah, that works.
Yep. I think that's all the questions right now, but I will keep you updated. Oh, wait a minute. Hold
on. Great.
Can all the moms be at the meeting and help, or just one? I think as much help as you can get is fine, right?
Yeah, for me, I mean, some leaders I think are more comfortable with not having as many people around. I myself, because crowds don't bother me, obviously. I like to have the parents come and help me. Like when all the girls have to go to the bathroom,
yep.
Or when everybody, we could spend our whole meeting going to the bathroom, and we really could. So it's nice to have that adult that can walk the girls to the bathroom, and we can keep going with what we're doing. Or, if somebody needs a little bit of, quiet time, sit out, and then we can have an adult that's with them, and I don't have to worry about them because we meet in the library, and my girls would be like hiding under tables and stuff if you let them. So it's nice. For me, I like to have as many adults there to help me as I can.
We have one more question. I am a co-leader of a new troop that is still in the process of coming together. Most of the moms are available for a meeting right after school. I work full-time and can only meet on the weekends. Is it okay for my co-leader to have the meetings without me during the day?
As long as there's supposed to be two registered adults at the meeting, then I think that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know. Yep, you just have to, as long as you have to have 2 people. You're not supposed to run the meeting by yourself. There should be 2 registered leaders, trained leaders at the meeting. So if you have a parent who's willing to be, to help out, that should be fine as far as I know.
Yeah, so they just have to have the leader training, right?
Yeah, I think they're supposed to have the leader training.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay. I think that's it for this slide, right? Okay.
Okay. Yep. Right. This one's easy, but so at your meeting, our motto is be prepared. So always have extra activities planned in case the activity you had planned, it maybe takes less time, although more often than not, in my case, it tends to take more time than I had planned. Every once in a while, something might go faster than you thought, and you might find what am I going to do now? So I always keep some coloring pages and some crayons because my girls would sit and color all day if you let them. Coloring pages, just games, songs, just some extra ideas to do if for some reason you to this gap of time and you need to have something for them to do. Because if you don't have anything planned, then they're just going to go wild. That's what my girls do. I try to do any kind of prepping crafts at home as I can to save some time. Things like if things need to be cut out. Girls, of course, Daisy's can cut. It could take, like I said, spend the whole meeting cutting things out. So if that's what you want to spend the meeting do, that's fine. But I try to do it at home, get things ready ahead of time as much as I can. But still giving stuff for the girls to do, not doing it all for them. And the first aid kit's kind of a no-brainer, but I always have it with me, but sometimes I forget to check to restock it because for some reason when I bring it home, my kids like to take the Band-Aids out of it. So just check it, make sure it keeps it restocked because somebody invariably needs a Band-Aid even if they're not bleeding. So that's kind of all I had for this one, if anybody anything else. All right. So these are some things that I do. I didn't always do all of these things, but these are just some things I do that have helped me. Everybody probably knows what caper charts are. I think they cover them in leader training. That's one of the first things we did at our first meeting was make a caper chart. And like my girls love to have jobs to do. And and every once in a while on my caper chart, I don't have a job for every girl. I couldn't think of enough jobs. So some of the girls will have a day off. They don't like having a day off. They all want to have something to do. So I was making things up, So like I have a person that has their job is to hold the flag when we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I have a girl who's our puppet master. I made these little hand puppets that have the flowers, the little flower friends that go with each of the petals. And when we say the Girl Scout law, they get to hold up their flower when we're saying that part of it. So I have somebody who hands out the puppets. I have somebody who passes out papers. I have the photographer of the day. I hand her my cell phone. Say there, go take some pictures because sometimes I forget to take pictures and they're really cute. I take the pictures that she takes and I put them up on our troop website and a lot of them are pictures of the floor, but those are the pictures that the girls take. And what else is on our caper chart? Somebody starts the friendship squeeze at the end of the meeting. I let one of the girls take attendance with me helping her. Things like that. Having a routine to your meeting, that's what I do. And if I veer from it, the girls will know, they tell me. So we always, what I do is we do attendance, do the Pledge of Allegiance, we say the Promise and Law. We have a little Daisy song that we sing. And then I try to do some kind of an active game to get them to burn off a little bit of energy. And then we'll work on whichever badge or pedal, whatever we're doing for that day. And then we do snack. And then I hand out the stuffed pedals that they earned that day. And then we'll do the friendship squeeze. And we sing Make New Friends at the end. And if I forget, they tell me. They always do. I can't skip anything. So, and they know, yeah. My troop website, I love. Not everybody likes I only have, last year was the first year I had a troop website. I keep my calendar updated that way. I use Rallyhood for my troop as well. And that way, and the parents can check out my calendar if I need to change it, if I need them to RSVP, who's coming to our cookie booth, it's all on there. Troop newsletter, I've been doing it online more and now that I have the website, I don't do it as often, but I used to have a printed up newsletter I would try to do after every meeting. I didn't always get it done. And what I love, my little rolling craft bin, obviously you don't have to do that, but something to put all your stuff in, because I don't have enough hands to carry everything. So I love my little, I think it's made for scrapbookers actually, but I throw all my stuff in there and I can just pull it along with me and I put everything in there. So I love that. put the girls' names on stuff. They're always leaving uniforms. They're always leaving everything. Even when I hand out pedals, I put them in a little Ziploc bag and I put the girl's name on it because somebody always leaves it at the meeting. And if I just find a pedal on the floor, I don't know who it belonged to. But if I find the bag and it says, Sarah, I know, okay, Sarah, I can call her mom. She left her pedal here. Or I can know who to give it to at the next meeting. So I started putting their names on everything I gave them. Even if I hand out fundraiser packets, their name's already on it. And I know who left it there on the table when they leave. So I think that's it.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Michelle about this slide? Please feel free to type them into the question box. If not, we can go to the next slide. It looks like there's no, oh wait. Troop mail, I think you might have skipped troop mailbox and they're wondering
Did I
what that
skip
is.
the mailbox?
Mhm.
I did. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I have a, just, the little plastic like accordion folder, that you can, that has little slots. It's a divided kind of folder. I don't even know what it's called, but it's got a handle on it. And I have like a folder in there for each girl. And so if I'm sending home a newsletter, I'm sending home papers, because a lot of times the girls will forget to give it to somebody, or they'll stuff it in their backpack and their mom won't find it for 2 months. So I put it in their mailbox and I tell the moms when they come to pick their girls up, check your mailbox. And it's just a folder. Check your mailbox. If there's anything, anything I'm sending home, I try to put it in there. And that way I don't have to worry about the girls losing it.
And we have
That's
one more
right.
question. Who pays for the pedals, the parents or the troop?
That is kind of up to you. Everybody does it differently. When I have the girls buy their uniforms, I have the parents buy the pack of pedals, and so I had them pay for those. It was part of our startup for our uniform, and
Okay.
that just and they paid for all those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
If you have the funds in your troop, you can certainly do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing because when we started up, we didn't have really any funds in our troop. But then when we did a journey, because we had done cookie sales by that point in time, I did actually use the troop funds to pay for their journey awards. So
Yeah, once you get some money, you can do that. Yep.
Yeah.
right. I think
Yeah, so then after we did the pedals, I added the leaves and things. I bought those with troop money when working on the leaves or the other things. So.
okay, it looks like that's all the questions so far. We can go to the next slide.
All right. These are things that I've learned. One of my favorite ones is go to your service unit meeting, especially since I'm a service unit manager. Go. They help you so much. I did not go when my oldest daughter was leading her troop. I never went. I didn't even know they existed, right? So I didn't go. And you can learn so much, and the other leaders are there. They're so helpful. You can learn so much. So that's my number one tip. Go to your service unit meetings and take your trainings as soon as you can. And if you can't, like you want to go out and about and all these things, if you can't do it, your co-leader can do it. You don't have to do it all yourself. In fact, you shouldn't have to do it all yourself. Spread it out and have other people trainings. I only just like last month, honestly, went and did Ready, Set, Go. So all these years, I had never done it, and I always had babies at home, so that was my excuse. And I'm going to do camping adventures in February, and I'm camping, and I'm sleeping overnight. So I'm finally doing it. I didn't do it all those years ago. So this is my advice. Go take your trainings if you can, because you could do so much more. Ask your service unit manager or somebody about getting a mentor. If you don't know what you're doing, you've never done it before, there's plenty of other experienced leaders, I'm sure, who would be happy to help you. I know Beth is doing that. I was going to talk. She's mentoring a younger troop this year. And older Girl Scouts, they make great troop helpers. I have my own daughters because they're older and they needed, working on badges for them, or even just because I needed their help. I bring them with me. My 16-year-old comes and she helps me with my daisies. They're awesome troop helpers. And the younger girls love to see the older girls in their uniforms. And I said that have your co-leaders take your trainings too. You don't have to all do it. You do it all by yourself, and then take turns. You don't have to run it. If you have a co-leader, take turns running it. That's what I did when I was a brand new Daisy leader, and it was very simple to do. Let's
Does,
see.
does
Go
anybody
ahead.
have any questions for Michelle about this slide? Just feel free to type them into the question box. All right. I'm not sure if we have any more. Let's see. All right. I don't think we have any questions right now, so we can
All
keep.
right. Awesome. So last I said just put to have fun, but I added this in February. I did these patches with my daisies last year, and they loved it. This is not something through Girl Scouts, but it's there's a website called makingfriends.com, and I used it when I was a brand new leader. But they have so many helpful things for Girl Scouts, especially new leaders. They have a whole kit. Like if you're working on a daisy petal, you can buy a whole kit, and it will come with everything you need to earn that certain petal. But they have these they have superheroes. They're really cute, and they have a superhero that goes along with every petal. And we did that. My girls loved it. And they have each of the little superheroes has a story that goes along. And so that's just I thought I'd throw that out there. It's called makingfriends.com if you've never seen it. So then I just take lots of pictures because in the past I've been not good about taking. I bring my camera and I forget to take pictures. That's one of the reasons I started handing my phone to one of the girls that said take some pictures. And if you have a troop website or a newsletter, put it up. Parents love to see, and the girls love to see it too. Go on field trips. I mean, not tons of them. Daisies don't need to go out a lot, but 1 or 2 a year is more than enough. Take them out and do something aside from just sitting in your meeting space. Go to the fire station, police station. They love that kind of stuff. They went to Pumpkin Town this year. Take them outside. Take them, on a picnic outside, even if you're just going outside your meeting place and having a picnic outside. They love to get outside. And utilize those council events. If you don't know where to take them, council runs so many great events that you don't have to plan them. All you have to do is sign up and go. So they're fun. And my last one is, be firm, be consistent, because I found if you're not consistent, the girls can walk all over you. But have fun too, get a little silly, get down and play with them, and it's really a lot of fun. I loved it. I'm going to miss when my girls aren't daisies anymore because they grow so fast. But that's it.
All right. So if anybody has any questions for Michelle, please feel free to put them in the question box. She's gonna stick around for the rest of the presentation. So if you think of a question for her later, you can still type it in later. So our next presenter tonight is Beth Roth. She lives in Cheshire, and she's been living there for the past 12 years. She works full-time as a research scientist and has been involved in Girl Scouts since she was a brownie. So she was a Girl Scout throughout high school and earned her Gold Award. And in college was introduced to the Connecticut Gold Award Committee chairperson. And she has been on the Gold Award Committee for 14 years, and her daughter is a daisy. Oh, Beth, before you start, I think maybe we have a question for Michelle.
Sure.
Let me see here. All right, well, okay. I think we'll let Beth present, and then we'll go back to questions. Okay. If I could change the slide, that'd be wonderful. Hold on. All right, there you go. Whenever you're ready, Beth.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I've been involved in Girl Scouts for a long time, but last year was my first year as a troop leader, and it's definitely a different experience, and it's definitely a rewarding one, but I was learning a lot of things as I went last year. And so, I mean, Michelle covered a lot of this stuff, and I think, we have some of the same ideas and some different ones too, but I also follow a very consistent meeting format. We start each meeting with our Girl Scout promise, and we end each meeting by singing Make New Friends and doing a friendship squeeze, and that's, you can see the girls I had last year. We started with a small troop last year, and those are our girls. And also, I guess one thing I do a little differently is I know the girls get really excited about getting their petals, and so I did every couple of meetings, I would give them the petals they earned, but I wasn't doing it every meeting. So I think we did it 2 or 3 times during the year. We had a little mini ceremony and 10 minutes in the meeting, and we did official handshake and they got their petals. So that's the way that we did that. And then I kept it pretty simple in the first year. Primarily I used the Daisy Handbook, and then this year actually I was looking a little bit on the volunteer toolkit, which I found, it took me a little to navigate it, but once I got in there, they do actually have some helpful ideas. I also sometimes I'll Google the petals, and you'll pop up other councils, and they have agendas and stuff about what they did, and I found that helpful too, to get some different ideas. So it's not like I'm reinventing the wheel. I'm just, looking up and finding what others did. But we definitely wanted to, we just wanted to, make it pretty simple. And when I did last January, when I did get a co-leader to come on, she stepped right in, and we just took turns every other meeting. I planned one meeting, she planned the other, and we just let each other know what we were doing so we could help out. And I think there was a question earlier about parent involvement, and we definitely asked for parent involvement, and we have parents help out. I found that the parents, at least for me, if they all stayed, if I didn't give them an active role, then they just sort of sat in the corner. So if you need the help, you should ask for it. But this year, actually, we've been asking for a couple of extra parents to help if we need it, and then the rest of them sort of either go or wait outside, and it works out better, because I think if you want them to stay, you just want to make sure you give them specific jobs, or else so they're not disruptive to the meeting, so they have a role. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So Melissa asked to talk about some Daisy outings that we did. So last year, one really easy outing that we did was a local fire station. It related to one of the petals that we were doing, and it also they also learned how to do stop, drop, and roll, which is for the safety pin. So we were able to use it for a couple of different things, and the girls had a blast, and it was great. I mean, the fire department in Cheshire was wonderful, and I think a lot of fire and police departments in towns are used to having Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts come in and do really great programs. They specifically had a woman firefighter there, a woman and a man, so the girls got to talk to both, and I think that's important for them to see, and they had a blast. We just went for like an hour. And then this fall, we did a field trip to a local farm, and the farm, again, you never know what, I like to say it never hurts to ask. I reached out to the farm, and they let us come in. They did a tour of the farm and told them about how the farm uses resources wisely. We got to go on a hayride, and then they gave each girl a pumpkin, and I just had to bring paint, and they gave the girls pumpkins to paint. And it was all free. And so you never know what you're going to get unless you ask. And in terms of the service unit helping you out, because I was going to my service unit meetings last year, they from the Cheshire Land Trust, who I then reached out to, contact information, because I was at the service unit meeting, and she came to our troop meeting and did a workshop with the girls as part of our journey. So it's definitely great to get out there and talk to people, and I've learned a lot about my town in the last year, just between either the service unit meetings or just trying to reach out for simple things that we can do with the girls. Last year we did exactly as Michelle said. We did a couple of outings. We didn't get our troop up and running until, I think our first meeting was sometime in November, and we did the trip to the fire station, and we did one or two service unit events, and that was it. But the girls had a blast. So that was what we did for outings. And now this year we're thinking about possibly sometime in the spring, because a lot of our girls like to be outside. They want to do more outside stuff. So we're looking into something outside to do, and our town is going to have a camporee, so we're thinking about taking them to the camporee for an overnight, or possibly doing an overnight. That is one of the one of the council-sponsored events. So that's what we're thinking. So we're progressing this year into something a little bigger because we've gotten to know the girls, and this is where we think their interests lie. So we can go on to the next slide. And so I think the hardest thing for me, I think that the petals are pretty straightforward. Either when you look at the book, there are easy requirements, and you can go through, you can figure out ways to tackle them, and you can be as creative as you want. I think with the journey, it's a little bit more involved because there are there's a whole book that goes with it, and there are multiple steps. And so I looked online a lot for that, and I ended up loosely following the plans in the journey book, and sort of kind of working with the girls to make it our own. So what we did was, that's when the Land Trust came in. We did the Daisy Flower Garden journey, and the Land Trust came and talked to the girls about pollinators. And then we also used it as another meeting. We used it as a way, because they talk a lot about the Girl Scout law. So we did a project where we planted seeds, and they had to take care, be responsible. And so we went over some of the petals that we learned and some of the parts of the law. We sort of reviewed it with the journey, and then we did a take action project. So all the journeys require these take action projects, and so take action project is it's a little bit, so a service project is when you just go and you're told, we need someone to collect food, and you, like we did yesterday, the Daisies stood outside of Stop and Shop and collected cans of food for the food drive and then handed them over. A take action project is when you want to get out and find out more about the community and what they need and how you can help, and you do a little bit more of the planning. So you find out what they need, and then you make a plan for how to help. And with the Daisies, we talked a little bit about who we could ask to help, and then I reached out and talked to the school and the Land Trust, and the school actually needed help with a garden. So one of our meetings, as best we sort of guided them into, well, what would we need if we wanted to do a garden, and how would we help clean up the garden, and what could we plant? And we made a plan together, very much the leaders leading the girls on it, but trying to get their input and get them involved. And that's the thing that I love about Girl Scouts, is that they really want the girls to lead. So trying to figure out, I think that's the challenging part, is trying to figure out how to get the young girls to have a voice and help make decisions. And the way that we figure that out is to give them, one or two give them 2 or 3 choices and let them vote, or, ask them very leading questions to help them, to get them to give us ideas. So that's what we have about that, and I'm happy to talk more. And so I just had 3 slides, but I'm happy to answer questions.
So if anybody has any questions for Beth, please feel free to type them in the question box. We actually have someone who wants to go back to one of Michelle's slides and talk. I guess there's a bullet point that you have that says meeting activities, and I think she wanted to hear a little more about your meeting activities. Let me see here. Maybe not. But I think she'd like to hear about past meeting activities that you've done that have been successful with the girls. Michelle, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Okay, let me think about this. Like I said, we did a lot of, as far as earning our petals, I used a lot of those superheroes from that Making Friends website that I told you about. Like they will have, like one of the superheroes, I'm trying to think. Like the one for Courageous and Strong, and she had, for the red petal, and I'm trying to think what her superhero was, but she was, but they all have a superpower. Like one of them has a magic wand, right? And her magic power was to always be friendly and helpful. That's probably not the same one, but right. And then so we made little magic wands, just like like their superhero had. So the girls got a kick out of that. They could dress up as the superhero that went along with their pedal. So we did a lot of that last year. What else did we do? I'm trying to think specific things we did. We did an outside game day, like was one of our last days of the year last year. And we played games just because we meet at the school. And we went outside and we had almost like a field day kind of thing. And we did, we played games outside and we had crafts and little stations where each of the parents, well, mini like game relay races and things, which is when you have a bigger troop, those you could do those kind of things. We did the first aid, the pin, the safety, the first aid pin. I'm trying to think what we did for that.
We had for the first aid pin, we actually, so we did the stop, drop, and roll at the fire station, and then one of the other things was that the girls had to learn their address and their phone number. So we had them practice at home, and then they came in and told it to me, and then so that was one. And then the other thing was they had to learn about what to do if somebody was choking. And this is an instance where if you get to know the moms, one of our moms was a nurse practitioner. So I asked her, would you mind talking with the girls? So she led that. That's what we did for that, for the safety pin. So that was pretty easy. One thing we did, I think it might have been Courageous and Strong. Can't remember. One of them, and this was an activity that was right out of the book in the pedals, was to learn for the girls to ask an adult at home about a woman that they thought was, I think it was a woman that was courageous and strong or something like that. It might have been a different pedal. So we had each girl go home and talk to their moms, and they came in with a little poster. They could draw a picture, or my daughter wanted to print stuff out, so we printed out something and she put a printed picture of it. And we had each girl took a turn talking about their person, and they had a little guidance from their mom was there with them, or whoever could help them out. And it was really neat to see. Some of them picked famous women, and some had done like a family member who was courageous and strong. And so that was it was neat, and it was a little bit, we did a lot of arts and crafts stuff, and was always trying to think of things that was other than just drawing that we could do. And that was fun when they went and talked to their parents and then came in and told us about it.
So we actually have a helpful comment from a listener. It's not a question. It says, it's not a question, but when my first Daisy Troop earned their safety award, we had the fire chief give them their pins at the firehouse trip. So that's a pretty cool thing to do.
Oh, that is a good idea. Yep. I know we did that 3 Cheers for Animals journey last year, and as like the end of our animal journey, I took them. There's a goat farm in Southington. We went to the goat farm, and they made the sugar scrub out of goat milk soap, and goat milk, and they got to see the baby goats.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I'd like to do that. I'm not even a Daisy, and I'd like to do that.
I love goats. I think I had more fun than they did, but yeah. Yeah.
So if anybody has any more questions for Beth and Michelle, please feel free to type them in the question box. You can think of them later and type them as you think of them, but I'm going to move on to some of the new materials we have this year for daisies. Hopefully you guys have heard of them a little. I'm going to go over them again if you've already heard them, but hopefully you're learning something new tonight. So we have 3 new design challenge badges for daisies, and they are mechanical engineering badges, and there's 3 of them. So the first one is a board game design challenge where the girls will design a board game. The second one is a roller coaster design challenge, and they'll design a roller coaster. And the third is a model car design challenge, and they'll design a model car. So you'll see those 3 badges on what they look like on the slide. And GSUSA partnered with Goldie Blocks for these badges. So in order to do them, you do need to have the Making Things Move kit from Goldie Blocks. So that kit is sold on the Girl Scout website. It's $99, and each kit serves 12 girls, and it can be used over and over again. So it might be something that your service unit might want to consider buying, or we will have these kits available for rental from council. So if you are interested in renting them, there will be a form to reserve a kit on the website. It's going to be about $4 per girl, just because there are some consumable pieces in the kit. And all materials will be included in that kit, including any lesson plans that you'll find, and everything you'll need to do the badges will be included in the kit. And you'll also have the option to purchase the badges with the kit and pick everything else up all at once, if that's something you're interested in doing. And the lesson plans for the Design Challenge badges are available on the VTK, which is the Volunteer Toolkit. They are not going to be, the badge requirements are not going to be available in the shop, just the VTK for these 3 badges. Let's see. All right. So the next 3 badges I wanted to mention tonight are the robotics badges. So we have 3 new robotics badges, and they're meant to be done in a sequential order. So the first one is what robots do. The second one is how robots move. And the third one is design a robot. So again, you can see the pictures of the badges on this slide. And these are available on the VTK and in the Girl Scout shop. So the VTK gives really, really nice detailed instructions on how to, all the steps needed to earn these badges. So that's really nice, especially if maybe you're not a scientist and you don't necessarily feel comfortable with robotics. They really are really detailed lesson plans. Let me see, it looks like I have a question. Let me see here. Okay, let me read this question. How do you work in badges in addition to the petals and leaves? We are planning 15 meetings for the year, but after petals and leaves and a closing meeting, we run out of meetings. So what I'd say to that is really, if it's all about what the girls want to do. So you could, if they just want to work on the petals and the leaves, they could do that. If you'd like to try and throw in a badge that they're interested in working on, you can also do that. It's really what the girls are interested in doing, and not to say that you need to earn all the petals in 1 year or all the badges in 1 year. You kind of you could pick and choose when you'd like to do everything. Michelle and Beth, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah,
I know. Go ahead,
go
Beth.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
We decided, well, so we knew we had two years, and we decided to sort of do different things. So we did 5 petals last year, and then 2 of the leaves, and then we had a few extra meetings, and we did a journey at the end. And then this year we're doing the other 5 petals, but since we were able to start earlier, we'll be able to finish them more quickly. And we're hoping to do a journey, and then we'll see. We may do one of the badges too, but it is true. It is about what the girls want to do, and the girls, our girls talked about wanting to get outdoors, so we're looking at some of the outdoor stuff. But we also noticed that when I was looking at this, and I think that Melissa will cover it, is that some of these are for multiple age levels, so it's not just for daisies. I think, Melissa, if that's correct. So
yep, that's true.
So that was something else that we considered too when we were thinking about our planning, was that some of the things that we know that are really only daisies, we thought about maybe doing some of those first, and saving some of these for as they move up.
Yep. So the Design Challenge badges that I talked about, those 3 are specific to daisies, but there are also 3 other Design Challenge badges that are specific to brownies. So if your brownie troop wanted to work on a Design Challenge badge, that's definitely possible too, and you could just not do the daisy ones and decide to do the brownie ones, or do all of them, whatever your girls are interested in. If they love designing things, maybe they want to do all of them. Same with the robotics badges. There's 3 robotics badges for daisies, but there's also 3 different robotics badges for brownies. So you can also save it for brownies if you'd like to do that. And then our other question is, in the first year, is it okay to just do the petals and leaves? And I think, yeah, like whatever you feel comfortable doing and how you want to plan your year, it's really up to the girls and the leader to plan. And let's see, I just have one more question. Okay. What if you have one or two girls that want to do more than others? My daughters seem to want to do everything. Are girls allowed to work on their own? I would say yes. If girls want to earn badges on their own, that's completely possible. Beth and Michelle, have you had that in any of your troops?
I haven't. I did when I was a Girl Scout a million years ago. I remember doing badges on my own at home with my mom, and she just had to let the troop leader know what I worked on, and I don't see any problem with that. There's no way as a troop now that I had my years all planned out what I was doing, and then they threw all these new badges at me last year, and I said, oh wait a minute, I need to figure out how we can do some of these. So you're never going to get everything done. So yeah, there's no reason they can't do it at home as far as I'm concerned. I ended up combining a couple, and doing a couple of, I did respect myself and others and respect authority. Even on volunteer toolkit, I think there was a plan to do them both at the same meeting. So that's what I did, and it saved me to do something else. So
Yeah.
you can always play around with it.
Yeah, I saw that on there too. There were some to like you could double up on two pedals at
Right.
once. I agree with you. None of my daisies have, nobody's come up to me and said, oh, I want to do more yet. So at this level, I haven't seen them doing it on their own, but there's no reason why they can't. I mean, one way that did come in is we had in the town, we had some stuff that was town events that as a Daisy troop, the most of us went to. And then there was a town event, a science event last year, and a couple of the girls chose to go. And so they went on their own, My daughter was one of them. And some either couldn't go or didn't want, whatever the case was, either couldn't or didn't want to. So some of them earned not for the front, but like a fun patch for STEM, for science. And, so that's going to happen. And I don't see anything wrong with that either. I mean, I would just let others know that the option is available. I would let everyone know this is what we're earning this year. And if there are other things they're interested in, you're welcome to do that on your own, just so that they know that the option is there and then they can choose what they want to do.
All right, let's see. We have one more question. Is there anything that carries over through each year of scouting? What I mean is there any reason the girls have to finish their Daisy requirements before moving on to brownies? Nope. That's not, yeah. People can start doing stuff in brownies. People can, you could really just be a Daisy and not earn anything and then become a brownie and start earning badges if that's what you really wanted to do. There's nothing you have to do as a Daisy. That's a prerequisite for becoming a brownie.
I think the only thing I can think of is like if you wanted to earn the bridge to brownies, which there are some requirements for the little rainbow bridge that they recommend. But I mean, yeah, exactly what you said, Melissa. There's nothing you have to earn, and you can start Girl Scouting at any level. I mean, even for example, because I'm involved in the Gold Award, a girl can start Girl Scouts in high school without having done any other Girl Scouting and can still earn the highest award. There's still that option there for her. And there's, a slightly different path if you haven't done the Silver Award, which you do in cadets, but the option is there. So it's I think maybe that question stemmed a little bit from Cub Scouts, where they do there are progressions that they have, like that they move up in a little more of a progressive way, but with this, it's different.
Let's see. All right, I think that's all the questions. We just have one comment that says that she asked the parents to check with her before doing badges on their own, just in case that she's planning down the line to do that badge. So that might be a good thing to do. Okay, so we have one more question. For Cub Scouts, boys that finish all of their years of Cub Scouts can wear their rank badges on their Webelos uniform. When they complete their full I don't know if I'm saying this right, Webelos requirements, they carry that badge into Boy Scouts. Okay. So we don't really have anything like that in Girl Scouting.
Right. I think except like the bridging badges, you can wear the bridging badges.
Yeah.
I think
the brownie wings go up. The brownie wings, right. They put the brownie wings on the older girls, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just the bridging. I think it's just the bridging things that and the membership pins that move up. Otherwise, everything else I think stays on the uniform that they have. So I think it really is just the bridging, like the bridges that move up to uniforms, if I recall correctly.
Someone would like suggestions for pedal earning for girls starting second year of daisies. So I guess that would be, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I think she's probably asking how can they catch up to the girls that have already were daisies last year.
I have a girl that's doing that right now. She just joined us now in first grade. So she wasn't with us last year for kindergarten. And I told her, basically, I told her mom that I was going to send her, because we're working on other things right now. A couple of things I was able to, fit in as our meetings go, but I told her mom I was going to send her just, I was going to send her the things that we used when we earned those different pedals and let her do them at home if she wanted to catch up.
Okay.
She doesn't have to catch up, but if she wants them all, she can do that at home.
Yeah, we were, we have 3 or 4 girls that actually decided to join this year. And last year, if somebody missed a meeting, I would just tell the mom what we had done and let them do it at home if they wanted to earn the pedal. And this year, I haven't actually, I haven't reached out yet, but we were debating whether to either just let the moms know what we had done if they want to earn some of the other pedals, or if they want to. My co-leader and I had talked about, maybe having a Saturday if they wanted. We didn't mind doing stuff with them to catch up if they want, but they don't have to. They don't have to at all. I mean, it's if they want to.
Let's see. Oh, we have a question. What is a bridging award?
It's it's in the Daisy book. There's a couple of requirements. I think you have to talk to younger girls about daisies and talk to older girls about brownies or something. It is in the blue Daisy book.
Each time that you bridge, each time you go from a level to a new level, the daisies become brownies. They bridge to brownies, and there's a certain, it looks like a rainbow shape patch. And then when brownies go up to juniors, they get another bridging thing. And now they all kind of build on top of each other.
Yeah.
So that's what bridging is. You walk over an actual bridge.
Yep.
It's like graduating.
Yeah, and there's a couple of 2 little things. Like, I think it's like tell people about daisies and then meet some brownies and learn about brownies. And then you earn your bridge and you can have your little bridging ceremony. That's all it is.
Okay, I think that's all the questions for now. But if anyone has any more, feel free to type them in the box. I'm just going to move on to my next slide. So the next badge I want to tell you guys about that's new is the Buddy Camper badge. And that is the new camping badge for daisies. And so it's a good way to get girls outside, get them more comfortable in the outdoors. And so girls will help plan a camping trip. They'll pack for a camping trip, and then they'll have to actually go on a camping trip. So whether that's in your backyard or actual campsite is really up to you. I did want to mention that the White Memorial Conservation Center in Litchfield does offer 2 free campsites to scouts. So if you live in that area, that's a good resource for you. We also have our camps that where you're able to reserve those on our website if you're interested in doing that as well. And so this badge will be available on the VTK, and it's available in the shop. So if you'd like to get a physical copy, it'll be in the shop. The next badge I want to tell you about is the new citizenship badge for daisies, and it's called the Good Neighbor badge. So girls in this badge, they'll learn about different communities that they belong to, and then they'll make a difference in their community by being a good neighbor in some way. And this also is available in the shop and in the VTK. And the last badge I wanted to tell you about is the Outdoor Art Maker. And so this is another great way to get girls outside and get them creative. So in this badge, they'll explore the outdoors, they'll observe what they see and hear, and then they're going to use nature to do different art projects. and that's available in the VTK and the shop as well. And I did want to mention the new journeys that we have out this year for daisies. So the new outdoor journey for daisies just are the two sequential badges, the two outdoor sequential badges. So it's the outdoor art maker that I just told you about and the buddy camper badge that I just told you about. So if you do those two badges, if you're already planning on doing them, all you need to do to earn the outdoor journey is to do a take action project in addition to those two badges. So Beth talked a little bit about what a take action project is, and it's really, it's a little bit bigger than a service project because it's sustainable in some way. And those, so the lesson plans for the outdoor journey is available on the VTK, but you can also purchase the badge booklets in the shop and then just add a take action project to that as well. But there are lesson plans in the VTK that include the take action sessions, if you'd like to look into that. And then, okay, so the next three journeys I'm going to tell you about that are new are the new STEM journeys. So there's Think Like a Citizen Scientist, which is the outdoor STEM journey. And for anyone who's not really familiar with what a citizen scientist is, it's when just regular citizens collect data for scientists. So sometimes scientists are looking for either a large amount of data or data that they can't collect on their own, and they need regular citizens to help them collect that data. So GSUSA partnered with SciStarter, and there are, for this journey, there's videos that the girls can watch, and they can choose which citizen science project that they would like to participate in on the SciStarter website. Our second science journey is Think Like a Programmer, which is a computer science journey. And then our third new one is Think Like an Engineer, and that's an engineering journey. And you can see what the badges look like. They're super cute. The little flower with the magnifying glass is the citizen scientist one. The pixelated flowers, the computer program, the programmer one, and the engineer one is the one on the bottom on the right-hand side. So with all these journeys, you have to do a take action component, and the take action, that's what the take action badge looks like on the bottom of your screen there. And so if you decide, for some reason, you decide to do all three journeys, the take action badge looks the same for all three journeys. So you would need 3 of the take actions badges. They don't have separate looking ones for the different journeys. And so each one of these new journeys comes for the DAISY level, and it also comes in a multi-level lesson plan form. So if you have a multi-level troop, it comes in a Daisy Brownie Junior version, but it also comes in just a Daisy version, and that's available on the VTK for you as well. And it's 6 sessions in the VTK. And yeah, so all journeys include a take action component. So does anybody have any questions about the new material I just went over? I'm not sure if anybody has any questions, but if you do, feel free to type it into the box. I just wanted to give some additional updates for tonight. So these are some fun activities that, some fun council events that we have planned for this year. It's not an exhaustive list. There's plenty more in your program resource guide, but I just wanted to give some highlights tonight. But definitely check your program resource guide for other opportunities. So the STEAM Challenges at New England Science and Sailing Foundation is happening on December 2nd. And you have to register by November 13th, which is a week from today for that. We have Rosie's Story at the Connecticut Audubon in Fairfields. That's going to be on January 20th, and you have to register by January 3rd. We have Dishes for Daisies, which will be on February 2nd, and it's going to be a Friday night. And you can register for that by January 19th. And then we have the Daring Daisy Dabbler Day, which will be on March 10th, and the deadline to register for that is February 23rd. So definitely check your program resource guides for any events that you think will be interesting to your girls. And then my last slide for tonight is that I'd like to hear what you think about this webinar. Oh, I think I might have a question. Oh, where are the last two events held? So, Dishes for Daisy and Daring Daisy Dabbler Day. So, I think Daring Daisy Dabbler Day, we're still working on finding an exact location for that one. I believe it's going to be in the Hartford area. Dishes for Daisies, I think is happening, let me check my guide real quick. I think that's happening, it's definitely happening at one of our camps. Let's see, Dishes for Daisies. That's happening at Camp Candlewood in New Fairfield. And the Daring Daisy Dabbler Day, I don't believe has a location yet, just because I think something went wrong with its current location. Let's see. Okay, so my last slide for tonight is just I'd love some feedback and some just some ideas for next time. Let me know what you think of this webinar, and if you can think of any other topics that you'd like to hear about or you'd like to hear fellow leaders talk about, you can email them to program@gsofct.org. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, so if you think of anything, just please feel free to email. Someone is asking if the slides are available to download. They are not. This will be recorded and on the YouTube channel. If you'd like me to email it to you, just type that into the comment box, and I can email that to you if you'd like. But it will be available on our YouTube channel for you to watch back anytime you'd like. I'll probably get it up in the next day or two. Does anybody else have any questions before we end tonight? Oh. Okay, let me just write this down. Let's see. All right, so we have a question. Are there any specific trainings or webinars that you recommend? And there's, well, and I would recommend listening to the Leader2Leader webinars if you find the time on Monday nights. There's also ones that are already recorded and on the YouTube channel. So those are interesting to watch back if you ever find a free minute. Beth and Michelle, do you recommend any trainings that you found helpful for being Daisy leaders?
Well, obviously you need out and about if you want to leave, if you want to go anywhere. That's the first thing you have to do after your leader training. So I got by with out and about for a long time because I just did the next level just last month, like I said. But Ready, Set, Go is the next one after that, and they'll teach you how to light fires and, cook over a fire. So that's my plan now. I told my girls I'm taking them out, and we're going to start doing more outdoor stuff. My senior Girl Scouts were not real as excited about it as my Daisies are, but we're going anyway. I don't know about the rest of them, what other stuff anybody else has done, but out and about. Ready, Set, Go was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it was only a day thing. I'll let you know about camping adventures. I have to go camping everywhere.
I'm sure that one will be fun too.
Yeah, I'm planning the camporee, so I have to go. But yeah, anything. It's all good. It's all good.
Alrighty. Does anybody else have any other questions for tonight? I think that's it for tonight. So I just want to thank Michelle and Beth one more time. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to present, and I really appreciate it. And I think you gave some really great information tonight. So thank you so much for that.